by now, you've heard a lot of stories. Oh. It's not because it's filled. Believe me, we can still fill it. You've heard a lot of stories tonight, and I hope that when you leave here, you'll be inspired to share your stories. If you're grandparents, be sure you tell your stories to your children, your grandchildren. If you're parents, tell your stories to your parents. If your parents, tell them to your parents if you can. Tell them to your children. Tell them to friends. Listen carefully when your friends tell you their stories. Our lives are made up of stories. I said that earlier tonight, that my life is like a book with chapters of stories, and Metro West Jewish Day School is such a rich chapter in my life, in our lives, Stephen and my life. I have one story left to tell you. Got to take my glasses off because everything is blurry now. The last story is a love story. It's the story of a special guy who fell in love with a special school and the youngest children in this school. Mark Needleman of blessed memory is that very special guy. A kind heart, a careful listener, a wonderful connection with the young children who really loved when he came to their classroom. Almost everybody I meet who comes from Framingham or Natick, the Metro West communities, has come here from someplace else. But Mark and his parents before him were born in Framingham. In fact, his grandfather was a founder of the Orthodox Shul, which later evolved into Temple Beth Shalom, where Mark became bar mitzvah. I first met Mark as an art builder of Temple Israel more than 20 years ago, along with Jay Ball, who's with us tonight. And it was an invitation from Bert Marmer, who's also an art builder and also here with us this evening, who brought Mark to join our board in 2013. He helped the school in so many ways, but always quietly. If you think about Mark, I mean, I think you can see that impeccably dressed, a beautiful handkerchief, a little piece of fabric,
pocket square,
beautiful color that matched his tie, and polished shoes. It was impeccable. He helped quietly. He had no need for recognition. He didn't need to be called out. He didn't need center stage. What he really needed and what he desired was to lend a hand. He helped pack the school when we moved from our first site, and then he helped unpack the school when we settled into the next site. He spent years working anonymously, helping on tuition abatement, helping families manage the costs of educating their children. He was board secretary, probably was a board secretary, maybe, a board secretary, thinking about that. But he was board secretary for more than a dozen years. But his favorite role was volunteer in the pre-K and kindergarten class. And the kids would climb all over him into his lap and just let him read stories to them. Tonight, right before his passing, I'm sorry, this is just, I'm recalling these days as I'm talking to you, so it is very emotional. Mark came to the school to read his stories as he was planning to do. Brian has commented to me on, "Hey Mark, you look a little peaked." Nobody knew how ill he was. This was just weeks before his passing. Tonight we honor Mark's memory with the Keter Shem Tov Award, the crown of a good name. This recognition, this award, was named in 2012 to honor the memory of Mark's friend, David Elevitz. The Keter Shem Tov Award recognizes the qualities of a beautiful neshama, a beautiful soul, a gentle listener, a wise advisor, a cherished friend, and one who steps forward in service to the Jewish people. This award is made to honor the memory of Mark, who possessed all these qualities and more. May his name forever be a blessing. And Debbie, will you come up, please? Debbie, this is more difficult for you than it is for me.
You do this, come on, you do this.
So, this beautiful challah board, it says Shabbat Shalom on this side. It was created by Near Davidson, fine woodworker in Sharon, Massachusetts. And on the reverse side, equally beautiful. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to hold that. Okay, good. It says it's the Metro West Jewish Day School.
Well, do this one,
Yeah, okay. The logo, Metro West Jewish Day School. Keter Shem Tov Award, Mark Needleman, to honor his memory, December 2023. And
my remarks may be even briefer than I so many of you have said things that I thought about when I was planning what I was going to say, or even what I actually did include. It's like we were all of the same mind. And so it's bittersweet that I'm here to accept this disappearing. Right here. Right here. Going down. Take that off. That's good. There you go. Mind that light. These are not mine. It's bittersweet that I'm here to accept the Keter Shem Tov Award on Mark's behalf. I've given a lot of thought to what to say on this remarkable occasion and realized that what should be said are those thoughts that Mark would have shared. First, he would have eloquently have told you just how thrilled and honored he was to receive the Keter Shem Tov Award, particularly on this special evening honoring the storyteller. As many of you can attest, he certainly loved to hear and to tell a good story. And then he would have told you just how proud he was to have been involved with the Metro West Jewish Day School. He was always an ardent supporter of education, and in particular, Jewish education. His most favorite part of involvement with the Metro West Jewish Day School was volunteering in the classroom, particularly with the youngest students. He always had plenty of hugs and an extra set of hands to help out whenever he could. especially on painting day. Mark and I have always believed that it really takes a village to raise our children to be the best that they can be. When our children have other adults in their lives, in addition to beloved family, to trust and to count on, they are so much richer and stronger for it. Mark grew up in such a family/village, full of many relatives and chosen family. My most favorite anecdote about Mark is that at the ripe old age of 14, he was shocked and most devastated to learn that his beloved Aunt Dot and Auntie Ellie were not his mother's sisters. Mark believed that the Metro West Jewish Day School is a wonderful village for our children and their families to grow, to receive a fine education, to feel nurtured and loved, and leave with a set of personal skills that will well serve them all of their lives. We all tell, or try to tell, stories to impart information and to entertain. And in doing so, we are sharing something of ourselves. And when we listen to stories, we are much richer, smarter, wiser, more engaged, entertained. And sometimes we retell stories. And when we do, something of us lives on. As Vera Nazarian so aptly observed, old storytellers never die. They disappear into their own story.
On behalf of Mark, thank you again for honoring him and the legacy he shared with us all. We have Mark's family in the crowd as well. They can wave their hands. Everybody can wave back at them as well. Right over here. All right.